What's up, guys? Bryan with Pikes Peak International Raceway and Adrenaline Off-Road Park, and I'm here with Jason. We're going to be doing a build here on my machine, actually, but let me go ahead and send it over to Jason. He can talk about where to find him, where to find his company, and what they sort of specialize in. So go ahead, Jason.
Great. Thank you, Brian. I'm Jason Casados, owner of Savage SxS Powersports. We're located in Pueblo, Colorado, downtown, 607 West 7th Street. We specialize in aftermarket parts and accessories for mainly side-by-sides, but we also do ATVs, dirt bikes, and other off-road vehicles. We dabble with trucks and 4x4s and that type of thing as well. So
Perfect. Sounds good. And are you mostly on the racing side, mostly on the hobbyist side, mostly on the utilities side, or all the above?
all the above. I love the UTV sport. I like more of the racing style, but we've got something for everybody. So whether it is your farm vehicle, a UTV, or it's just your race vehicle, we can definitely service it. We can get parts and make it what you want it to be.
Absolutely, and I've been seeing a lot of stuff on your socials about snow plows, about hunting vehicles, and things like that. So there's going to be, go see them if you got any questions. There's tons that they can do, very little that they can't. We're going to be diving into my machine. It's a 2020 Can-Am Maverick RR, whatever other numbers and letters they want to throw at them, yeah. X3. And from the factory, I mean, of course, these things are built by accountants pretty much. So there's places where they kind of cut corners and make sure that it's something for everybody. And then, of course, if you want to jump a little bit deeper into the sport, there's tons of opportunities. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Jason kind of do a walk around quick. We're just going to do a visual of, hey, these are some weak points. These are something that we want to get fixed. We're going to go take a ride along around the Gauntlet here. We've got a very unique track out here that we're able to really shake these things down and take a very critical eye to the parts that they chose to put on this from the factory. So yes. Let's get into that.
Yeah. So, I'm a huge Can-Am X3 fan. I have one. My wife has one. So we are very versed in the X3s. X3s are a great machine. I love it. I think they are one of the best machines out there, if not the best. But like Brian said, there are some weak points on them, depending on what your riding style and driving style is. Brian and I both like to go fast and jump and do more of the racing style. So we want to address some of those weak points that come factory from that. That being said, we are a little bit more race driven, so this may not be for your typical everyday driver or just somebody that casually hits trails and so on and so forth, but we will address those as we go on.
Absolutely, and yeah, anytime you break something on these machines, it's an excuse to upgrade. So of course, and we do have, talking about this unique track that we've got, it is 13 corners, and the straightaway has a jump line that is 11 jumps, so it really kind of keeps you on your toes and really gets every last bit out of these machines. And I've been waiting for a lot of things to break. I just did the bulkhead, yeah, gusset kit, yep, shock tower support, all that kind of stuff that is, I guess, the first thing to fail on these things. If it's not the, well, we'll get to that.
Yes. All right, so on your X3, one of the biggest known weak points is going to be your radius rods. These things are super thin. It was the first thing that failed on my machine. I do have a 4-seat X3 2019. One of these bent. It was the center one that bent, and it had a bend in it. My tire went under and we rolled over. I was with my son at the time. So this is a known weak point in the X3s. If you do a lot of racing, heavy driving, that is one of the recommendations that we really want to emphasize on bulking up and going aftermarket from the start. So that being said, on Brian's particular build, we are going to be replacing radius rods. We are going to be replacing trailing arms. Trailing arms are they're good from the factory. Shock Therapy makes a really good TLS kit that will strengthen the hub and where it mounts to your trailing arm. So we'll be doing a double sheared. We'll be doing HCR trailing arms on this particular machine, which doesn't require that. If you run factory trailing arms, I do recommend that TLS kit. Also, we're going to be upgrading the sway bar links with Shock Therapy adjustable sway bar links, and the sway bar itself. That'll also be shock therapy. So those are a couple of things that from here we are going to replace suspension wise. We're also going to be running dual rated shock therapy springs on this car and doing a revalve and retune on those as well. So let's move to the front. Bryan mentioned earlier that they just did a bulkhead, which can also be called a gusset kit, which is this thing here. This is another known weak point in the Can-Am X3s. I do recommend if you ride your car hard, you put a bulkhead in. There's a lot of great companies that make those. We actually use the CA Tech or TMW. CA Tech makes a really good product, and the shock tower support. So Bryan also replaced his shock tower support as well with this billet aluminum one. Looks like it's a CA Raceworks, which is an amazing product as well. So on this particular build, we are going to replace upper and lower A-arms. We are also going to replace with HCR. We're also going to replace the springs and do shock therapy dual rated spring on the front and rear. And also we're going to put the bump steer delete in this from shock therapy as well. So bump steer delete. So when you're driving fast, you get a little kickback in your steering wheel, or maybe over some whoops or hard turns and stuff like that. What that does is it reduces the kickback that you get on your steering arm there. So we're also going to do front sway bar and sway bar links by shock therapy as well. And we'll probably end up doing limit straps on the front as well. So that is really going to be the first. We're going to take this build in about 2 to 3 different stages. That is going to be stage 1 on how we do Bryan's car.
All right, guys, so here we are in the car getting buckled in. We're going to start at a few of the problem corners that really kind of throw a curveball at these machines. What I do notice is when we hammer into some of the bigger banks, it squats so much that I think I start feeling like the tread coming up. So like the suspension's extremely soft. Like this one, for example. Discuss. It's a little more noisy in here. All right, so we'll shut that off.
Man, this is not even like work.
Yeah, yeah, it's way too much fun. Absolutely. Preliminary thoughts, are there kind of things that you're feeling with the handling, some of the roll? what's gonna...
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that there's a few things that what we're gonna do is gonna solve some of the issue.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
not
absolutely.
all the issue. So, you know, that's what we're going to aim for. I think tuning the shocks is going to be a huge thing.
Absolutely.
Revalving, retuning the shocks more for your riding style, but also leaving it because you said you want to be able to trail ride as well. So
Yeah,
exactly. Leaving a little adjustment in there for, you know, just really trail riding as well. But we're probably tuning about 80% for about racing.
Perfect.
In track riding, and leave that 20% so you don't have an uncomfortable ride when you're doing trail riding.
And I come from the truck world, so are you guys going to be doing like a digressive valve, progressive valve? Are you kind of going to leave it up to the springs to handle all that?
You know, the springs are going to do a big part of it. What I can tell already is the springs are not in good shape.
No, they're tired.
Those are OE factory springs. You know, I don't know how many miles you have on this vehicle, but you know, just from what I know,
2,700.
Yeah, those springs are shot.
yeah. Then they're not happy with how I use them on a daily basis.
Yes, definitely. That was one of the first things that I can tell.
Yeah.
So, you know, replacing and putting the dual rated shock therapy springs in there is going to be a tremendous difference. Not only with just the car, but you're also going to notice the ride height is going to change in this thing too. So,
Yeah.
you know, when we talk about the revalving of the shocks, I will leave that up to Jordan.
Okay.
You know, he's the expert when it comes to tuning shocks, and I will let him speak to that. I just know that it needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll let the expert speak on that.
Yeah.
You know, also when it comes to the sway bars, you know, the sway bars are going to have they're adjustable sway bars with sway bar links, is adjustable sway bar links. So that's going to help us with some of the body roll. I have mine set in the middle, which is, you know, basically an all-around type of ride. We may adjust those if we do more track riding as well.
And I'm assuming that's going to be even stiffer than what you get from the factory. The middle setting on that
Correct.
isn't going to just be a, hey, same for same.
Correct.
And especially with that tricky corner, I mean, that corner can go tons of different directions depending on your line, your throttle input, and it can dive over the right front, or it can just throw the rear around. Like there's so many different ways where it kind of squats and says, hey, what am I going to do?
It gets me every time.
Yeah.
You know, we took a wide line on that. Typically, I kind of shoot it more in the middle and then kind of fade wide. When I try to drive it, I haven't found the best line on that particular corner.
Yeah.
So
I think my favorite line on that one, and it might change with some of the modifications that you want to do, I like to take a late entry, early apex, so it's just a straight line. I can dump all my speed and then just be back on the throttle and ready for the next progression of jumps.
I think after we do the adjustments that we plan on doing, you'll probably end up finding a whole new line.
Yeah, absolutely.
or new lines through the course. You know, because the car will change dramatically.
Absolutely,
once we get it dialed in. So.
Well, I'm excited. It seems like it's going to be a Mavar Hunter by the time that you guys are done with it. I'm really excited for that. We'll probably have one video in between this. You have your customer appreciation event that is coming up that we need to make sure to plug that here.
Yeah, absolutely. So October 4th, Savage Side Powersports is taking over Adrenaline Park. So this place is amazing. I know a lot of people wanted to make it out to the Peak Adrenaline event, and a lot of people couldn't make it. This is a free event. We're providing food and soft beverages and a free day of riding. So there's no admission. All you have to do is register. We'll post the link or the QR code on this video. We'll be, if I didn't mention, we'll be providing food for y'all. And then tons of giveaways. Man, we have been so fortunate by a lot of the people, the main people in the industry, you know, from DRT to PRP to, you know, Baja Designs. I mean, the list just goes on and on of the giveaways that they provided us for this event. So, you know, come on out October 4th, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Have some fun.
Absolutely, and it's going to get dark at some point during there, so we're going to get some night riding in there. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a customer appreciation event, whether you are a current or future customer of Savage SxS Powersports down there in Pueblo. Seeing their showroom is incredible. Being able to kind of put my hands on stuff, figure out, oh, this is what this is going to do to my machine. You guys have quite the setup down there.
Well, thank you. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, and we look forward to seeing you guys October 4th.
Cool, sounds good. good. So next video will be footage from that, and then we'll get my machine down there and they'll start tearing it apart.
All right, Brian.
Cool.
Sounds great.
good.
Thank you, buddy.
Chat soon.
Thank you.